Well, here it is, folks. Our almost death number 1. When Dwight comes down from the roof and gets behind the wheel and starts speeding away toward the pie.
Where do we even start? First of all, we rehearsed the scene, and Rain was actually going to be pretending to drive, but not driving.
Yeah, the bus was hooked up to a pull rig.
Yes. And off camera, they were going to yell, "Swerve right." And the whole cast would all lurch to the right. Then they'd say, "Swerve left." We'd all lurch to the left. But in fact, we were just driving along straight.
Yes.
And we were not even driving. We were being pulled. Very
Correct.
safe. Very safe.
Yes.
Well, they watched that in playback, and guess what? It looked real phony.
Super fakey.
We didn't do a really good job, I guess, of fake swerving. So they said, you know what? We're going to take the bus off the rig. We're going to put a stunt driver in. Rain, you hop out. Now we're going to drive down the road. And when we yell swerve right, the stunt driver is going to swerve right.
Yeah. And we should just
naturally react.
Right.
What no one thought about was that there were hundreds of items inside a tiny bus, and all of them were not nailed down. They weren't tied down. Everything you see was loose. Rolling chairs, desk, lamps, staplers, water cooler, coffee pot. None of it was taped down, nailed down, strapped down. None of it.
And literally no one thought of this.
None of us. I don't know what was up. And then we start off down the road.
Mm-hmm.
And when they told the stunt driver to swerve, he swerved like, I thought the bus was going to tip over. It was like such a hard turn.
It was so intense. And the entire cast and all of the contents of the bus went flying into the side of the bus.
And you can see it in real time because that's the take we used.
They used a very tiny portion of the take because
we were on the floor, covered in things.
Covered in people.
Covered in people. You couldn't even see Creed. He was covered with so many things.
And people.
And people. I hurt my knee because... who was it? Was it Clark's chair rolled into my chair? I rolled everything. I got smushed up against the wall. Everything rolled into me.
Yes.
My lamp slid into my lap. I remember catching my lamp in my lap.
Yeah, I was on the ground. Leslie was on top of me. And I remember we had to pull a lot of things out to find Phyllis. She hurt her ankle.
Our camera operators.
Yes, they went flying.
They went flying while holding cameras, 80-pound cameras.
Yes. And true to their love of their cameras and the equipment, you know, they used their bodies to shield the cameras.
The bus was an absolute mess. It was like someone picked it up and shook it in the air and everything went everywhere.
I mean, I'm thinking back to it. We stopped the bus and we were just in a daze.
Yeah.
We got off the side of the road. I don't even remember where we were.
We couldn't even get off very quickly because they had to like kind of pull us out of it all.
Yes. The medics came rushing up. We were able to assess that everyone was, you know, had bumps and bruises, but were ultimately okay. But shook up, I think, is a fair assessment. There were some bathrooms nearby. We were like in a random park.
Yeah.
And I remember there were like these hikers coming back from a hike. I just remember the look on their face because they were just watching the cast of The Office walking in a daze to the public restroom. I went in there with Phyllis.
They got ice for Phyllis, I remember.
Yep. My knee was a little messed up.
Yeah.
We couldn't believe it. We were like, wow. Wow.
That just happened.
Yes.
They had to reset the whole interior of the bus.
Yeah, we took a lunch break.
Yeah, we were like, forget it. Let's go to lunch.
And we couldn't even ride back to our base camp in the bus, which had been the intention. So they had to bring all these vans. But we got back. We had lunch. We were like, we're okay. We kind of ended up laughing about it. We were like, oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah.
We're like, Bryan Cranston, you almost killed the whole cast of The Office.
Ha ha ha. But we're okay.
Yes, and he had a number of crazy things happen on that RV in Breaking Bad where it's like, going back and forth and all of the meth lab is flying all over the place. So we're just trading crazy stories.
He felt really bad,
He
though.
did. He was so sweet. I mean, we cannot express enough how sweet Bryan Cranston is.
It was really tough. And San Fernando Valley, like you said, it was 100 degrees.
Yeah.
And then we made it worse by having the closed up windows and everything else to where the heat inside that bus,
Oh, God.
I would think would be 110, 115.
It was like a little sauna rolling down the road.
And we were trying in the morning, every time we cut, they'd try to pump the air, but then we'd have to turn it off, and you'd only be able to work for about 5-10 minutes before it
you had to
became
shut up,
unbearable. So we got the little rolly unit.
A brilliant idea.
So wonderful. But then we started moving, and my chair was right under the little sunroof. I was very excited. I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
You're going to get all
I'm
the
going to
air.
get the first amazing, cool air.
Yes.
But
And you did.
I sure did. And I
That part is true.
It was very cool.
was smelling the air as it was cooling me, and I was like, it doesn't smell right. It smells gassy. It smells not right.
And so you started voicing that,
Yeah.
and I was more towards the front, and I was like, I don't smell anything. I don't. And there was a little bit of like, Jenna, a
Well,
little bit.
I know, to be fair, I was the person on the set who had all the allergies, and I was ruining takes from sneezing all the time. And I think people thought it was just Jenna's allergy nose, Jenna's sensitive. And I was like, no, it's not that. It's like gas.
And then Sarah, our camera operator, who was standing back there by you, she was like, wasn't she?
She
had
got a
headache?
little
She was
woozy.
dizzy.
Yeah. And then, Bryan, I think you came up
I did.
and you were like, let me see what you're talking about.
What? Wait.
I stood on a chair right where your desk was, and I put my face right up to the register where the air was coming, and sure enough, carbon dioxide.
Nice.
You were
cool.
like, I remember you go, get off the bus.
That's right.
And we all exited the bus. And that is when you can tell everyone what they discovered had happened.
It was a great idea, but the execution was not thoroughly thought through. So what we came up with when we were realizing in production meeting was saying, well, it's going to be hot as hell on this bus. How are we going to keep everybody from wilting? And I said, we can pull a portable air conditioning unit that is strong enough to pump fresh air into the bus. And my concern was, I want to be able to shoot toward the back so I can't see it. We can make it low enough, small enough, to where it won't be seen throughout the windows. And we thought about we'd have to adjust the rearview mirrors. And what about the noise? And these new ones are. So we really thought about this. Okay, great. And we'll just tow it. We'll have a tow hitch on the bus. We'll hook it up, and we'll just tow this unit. It has its own generator. It's quiet and perfect solution. What could go wrong? Well, what went wrong was the intake for the air conditioning unit was positioned the way it's manufactured. And it's just so happens the way it was placed on this trailer was facing the back of the bus at about 1.5 feet away from where this intake is the exhaust pipe of the bus. So the fumes and exhaust from the bus only had about a foot distance away from the intake from the air conditioning.
Just getting sucked
There
up,
was
going right into the
no
bus.
possibility of avoiding this. And it was locked down, but we didn't realize that until we were actually underway. And the thing was fired up. And actually, Jenna, you and your sensitive nose saved our lives.
Finally, it did some good in my life.
You saved our lives. I at first went, how can exhaust be coming inside? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
And sure enough, when I saw, I went, oh my God, we have made a huge mistake. And we nearly killed the entire cast of The Office.
Really incredible.
But I would say, had no one detected it. What a beautiful way to go.
All together.
Right? Oh my God, all together.
Rolling
Kumbaya.
down the road. Shibuya roll call. The big roll call.
That's it.
We,
All got off the bus.
the medics came over. They checked us out. They said we were all okay, that our exposure time would not put us at great risk. They mentioned we might have some headaches, but
Mhm.
that we would ultimately be fine. And luckily, the scene we had not shot yet is the scene coming up, which is the pie.
Pies.
If we all look like we couldn't be happier to be eating the pie, it's because we were really happy to be eating the pie.
And breathing
we'd
fresh
had.
air.
Yes. After almost dying twice, this pie was so delicious.